Okay, this is the finished ranch dressing, at least the stuff that's left over after I used a bunch for chicken dip. Hello, today we're making ranch dressing and mayonnaise. And the reason I say both is because if you notice, a lot of ranch dressing recipes online do use a mayonnaise base to start out with. And so we'll just go ahead and make both completely from scratch, because trying to make things with less chemicals is the main goal of the website. Now, if you go to hosrit.com, that's HOSRIT.com, you'll see all of the ingredients for this and directions laid out for you. So HOSRIT.com has all of the directions right here for you on this. So in getting started, to reduce the chemicals, we go down to the basics, put our fats, control which type of fats in, control which types of ingredients, control everything about it, because you have to go to that level of detail if you're really going to take out a lot of the nasty chemicals that can set people off. And if you're one of the people that gets triggered by chemicals in your diet, you know what I'm talking about. So, types of fats. Now, in store-bought mayonnaise, in store-bought ranch dressing, you're going to have a lot of canola oil, a lot of GMO, soybean related stuff. There's a lot of, and even in the organic non-GMO stuff, you still have the same types of oils from the same types of plants, just a non-GMO version of it or an organic version of it, and it's really expensive. So making these things yourself is important if you really want to control your diet. Now, starting off, the ingredients in mayonnaise are really, really simple. Really simple. It's pretty much just oil, egg, and a little stuff, like vinegar, mustard, a little spicy. I mean, it's really simple. And the important thing when you have so few ingredients is the quality of the ingredients and how you do it. So, if you take an olive oil and make olive oil mayonnaise, it's going to taste like olives. I do use some, but I only use part olive oil because it's a strong flavor. You want to use the, if you're doing olive, you want to use the most mild flavor possible, and even then blend it is what I do. Coconut oil is a good healthy type of oil. Again, it can have a coconut, somewhat coconut flavor if you get certain types. It's okay if, again, you blend it. There's other oils like sunflower oil and whatnot. So, in this video, I'm going to go through a little bit of how to make it, a lot of the presentation, the preparation, the exact types of oils you're going to use in this. That's going to be up to you. I recommend starting off, do not do a double batch to start off. Do a single batch to start off. Play around with what types of oils that are reasonably affordable for you and your budget. I mix them. I'm not going to go canola oil. I'm not going to go corn oil. I'm not going to go things off of the worst offenders. I'm going to blend in some sunflower. There's other ones that are less bad to blend in. It really depends on how much chemicals you can tolerate. Sunflower's not too bad. So let's get started. I'll go through all the detailed steps for you and pay very close attention to those ingredients. The ingredient quality is really good. Mayonnaise is the hardest thing to make really good. Ranch is a little bit more forgiving because you're adding the sour cream, you're adding the ingredients in. That makes it a little bit more forgiving. And then if you take the ranch and then put it into something like the chicken dip recipe that I have on another page, then that's even more forgiving still. So, let's get at it. Have fun. Here we go. Okay, now, step one, the mayonnaise. Now, mayonnaise basically, I know looks and feels and tastes like mayonnaise, but when it comes down to it, it's basically oil with stuff added to it. So, the oil is really important. It's going to affect the taste quite a lot. And if you're in it to make it yourself, you either want A, a really amazing flavor, or B, something that does not have as nasty stuff. your choice of oils here is tremendously important. If you're really going to this level of doing it, you need to research that online to see the pluses and minuses of every type of oil, along with, really importantly, how they taste and how they blend together. I'm just going to explain my choices a little bit. I cannot go into detail into all of the health benefits because that would make this video way too long. Go ahead and research this. Pick what types of oils you want. It's really important that you get the right mix. It will not taste good unless you get your right mix that you like. Don't make a double batch on this until you really play around with it. So first off, sunflower oil. The sunflower oil I have is because, well, I'm not a millionaire. I'm really on a budget. I'm on a very tight budget, and I have to eat with less chemicals. I just do. So of the tight budget restrictions, you're looking at the lower end oils. Of the lower end oils, I mean, let's face it, they're not as good as the high end ones, but sunflower is not one of those heavily GMO crops, at least last I looked. It also has a fairly decent ratio of healthy fats to unhealthy ones, and it's pretty decent for you. So along with the taste, it has a pretty nice mild taste that is going to work well enough in a mayonnaise. Keeping in mind also that I'm not going to eat my mayonnaise straight and not going to put on bread. I'm just basically going to use it for ranch, which disguises the flavor. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to use. Now, coconut oil. I have, as you know, Walmart sells an organic, cold-pressed, unrefined, chemical-free, non-GMO coconut oil. That's a really healthy type of oil. Go ahead and research it. It's really nice. It does have a mild coconut flavor. Do I want my mayonnaise to taste like coconut? No. So, it's a mix. It's going to go in the mix. Now, last type is an olive oil. Olive oil is a nice, healthy type of oil as well. However, it tastes like olives. Now, there's grocery store stuff that is made out of olive oil blend, but it has to be a mild olive oil flavor and ideally a blend. So, this is my blend. I'm not using this particular batch just to eat mayonnaise. If you're making only mayonnaise, I highly recommend playing around with whatever types of oils you want. It's extremely important. Make a few batches, see how it works out, and pretty soon you're going to be making things that are just amazing tasting, deli tasting type, or better, and it's going to be really amazing for you, that you won't feel bad at all about serving to guests. Okay, now we took the oil, added it very, very slowly after putting in all the other ingredients, and now we're finally ready. It takes a little while sometimes to make the mayonnaise part. If you really want to pay attention to make good mayonnaise, because you put the eggs in first, along with some other ingredients, whip them up, then add oil slowly so it doesn't turn into an oily mess. But we already did that, got good mayonnaise. Now next step is, you guessed it, chives, parsley, and dill. Some people use buttermilk. I have sour cream. I know it's not organic sour cream, but it was on sale, and it's not too bad. It doesn't affect me that badly. And then the other ingredients as listed. We're just going to basically add them up, mix it up, make a quick ranch. I'm adding this to the Frank's dip that you saw, but it will come out really well. I use fresh ingredients because that really makes it taste great. And just a second, I'll just mix those right in. The directions right there on hosrit.com. These fresh will be probably cheaper and more readily available in lots of places than, say, dried chives. Also, other tip, there's this natural version that I'm using as well. This natural version is not fully organic or, non-GMO or things like that, but it has far less of the chemicals in it, and so this is another quick way of making it with less chemicals. And if you look at the ingredients in the back of this, it's a lot less than the other sour cream that I showed earlier. I'm going to mix the two because that's a little more expensive. I'm on a really tight budget. I need to reduce chemicals. I can't completely eliminate them. But yeah, this sour cream is another good way of reducing chemicals. Okay, as you can see, once you add the other ingredients, it can become a bit thinner than when you had the mayonnaise part of it, which is fine. Sometimes you want a really thick and creamy ranch, and sometimes you don't. But either way, the thickest and the creamiest ranch ever gets is a lot thinner than what you want for a mayonnaise. You do not want this to turn out like mayonnaise. And so it's nice and creamy, and it would do very well for a salad. But that's it. This is the ranch. It's nice and creamy. You can make it a bit thicker if you want, but you don't want to make it too thick. If you don't watch it up, thing is, sometimes if you're making the mayonnaise for this, you want to make it a little bit less creamy if you get it too thick on this. It's just, trial and error. You want to take your time if you're making mayonnaise only for mayonnaise, and really add the oil slowly and at just the right temperatures for everything, and you'll have a good mayonnaise. But this, you don't want way too thick. You don't want way too thin. You don't want it to be oily. You want it to be nice and creamy and something you can pour. And that does the job. And next step is go back to the red hot chicken dip recipe where you add this into that. Okay, this is the finished ranch dressing, at least the stuff that's left over after I used a bunch for chicken dip. So, as you can see, you can't really see that well from the pictures, but it looks really nice. It's the type of thing that if you brought it out to a table, pretty much any gathering, it would look really nice. It tastes really good. People would know it's homemade, obviously from whatever bottle you put it in, unless you put it in a store bottle. But it has a lot less chemicals. The types of fats you use are up to you, or the types of oils are up to you, and they can be a lot more healthy than the standard ones. Lots less chemicals. The types of oils you use up to you completely, and a finished ranch dressing is pretty forgiving. So even if you don't get 100% good on the mayo, that is going to be really good. Great recipe, pretty forgiving, comes out really well, good for a lot of different uses, including chicken dip, but yes, salads and a bunch of other stuff that ranch can be used for, dipping and whatnot. That's it.